What is going on, YouTube? It's Tyler from Mission VR, where it's my mission to bring you guys good quality VR content. So you guys already saw my first impressions video on the Pico 4, and now you're probably wondering, okay, if I got the Pico 4, what are the games that I could play on this, and would it be worth my time? So in today's video, we are going to be going over the top games that you can actually get on the Pico 4 store and play on this headset right now. So without further ado, guys, make sure you drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, leave in the comment section what your favorite games are, and what your experience has been so far with the Pico 4. I'd love to read those and see what you guys think. But without further ado, let's hop into the absolute best games that you can get on this headset right now. So with the Pico Game Store, there's actually a solid amount of titles that you can get on the store. Definitely not as much as, maybe its competitors, but there is still a good amount of games that you can play that you will definitely really enjoy. And before I actually start out this top 5 list, I do want to give out some honorable mentions because I think that it's important to, highlight some of the games that I didn't put it necessarily in the top 5, but would be, close into that realm of top 10 games or just top games in general. And my first honorable mention is going to be Stride. Stride's an awesome game. Really enjoyed that one. We don't need to talk too much about it. You guys can check it out more if you're interested. But Stride is a really fun and in-depth game with a good developer. In-Depth Unchained is the next one. Also a good RPG experience. There's a lot of content in this game. It's a fun time, and you're definitely going to be able to sink at least 10 to 20 to 30, maybe 40 hours into this game, depending on how much you like it. It's overall really a good experience, and if you're looking for something a little more RPG, Elden Ring, Dark Souls style, this game's definitely going to be for you. Contractors, of course, is one of the better shooters in VR. There's a lot to do in Contractors. It still has a really big community and is definitely a solid game. I like Contractors a lot. Only reason it didn't breach top 5 is just because the top 5 games I think are just overall better polished. And just, for me, I just enjoyed them more than Contractors. And lastly, the Walking Dead series. Of course, both the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners and Retribution are both pretty deep games with a lot to do in them. So if you're looking for some titles you can actually sink some time into, then these games would be it. But now moving on to our actual top 5 here. For number 5, we are going to go with the Red Matter series, and I'm picking both games here instead of just one because I think that playing both back-to-back is a lot of fun, and you get a really great cinematic experience out of it. The Red Matter series is truly awesome. The first game was really good. The second game I thought was absolutely fantastic. I could not say enough good things. The story had me roped in. The environments were beautiful. The gameplay was fun. The puzzles, there was a little bit of combat. It just had a bit of everything and that sense of exploration with a really amazing soundtrack. Probably one of my more favorited experiences I've ever had playing VR, to be honest. So I really love the Red Matter series. I cannot recommend it enough. It is just so damn good. Moving on to our number 4 pick here, we have old classic Blade and Sorcery Nomad. Listen, Blade and Sorcery is just such a great overall game if you're looking for a sandboxy type experience. Now, if you're looking for a story with in-depth characters and all this stuff, it's not going to be that for you. However, Blade and Sorcery just has such a fluid combat system, and I'm sure at this point, if you've done any research into VR games, you've probably seen people playing Blade and Sorcery and been like, wow, that seems really fun. It is a blast to just go out there in the sandbox environment and just kind of walk in a slow motion and kill somebody in the coolest way you ever thought possible. And they have mods for it, and there's so much going on in this game. It's overall a really solid title, and I just don't think you're going to be disappointed if you go ahead and pick that one up. There's a ton of hours and a ton of fun to be had in that game. Moving on to our third pick on this list, a game that really took me by surprise, and that was Breachers. This game is fantastic. It is so smooth. It's one of the smoothest released games that has come out recently that didn't have bugginess and all this stuff. It's just a very smooth title. It's Rainbow Six Siege in virtual reality. I mean, you can't really ask for much more. I think the combat's very fluid. They've been adding maps and game modes to the game, so it definitely has more to do originally. And the maps are deep enough, and there's enough different strategies that you can kind of play them for, I played about 50 hours before I even put my review up of the game, and I still wasn't really tired of the maps. I definitely wanted more at that point, but still, to be able to play 50 hours on only at the time 3 maps, and now there's more. So Breachers is a really solid title, a lot of fun, definitely a little bit of a more of a skilly based game because there's definitely PvP and how that stuff all works, but overall, Breachers, just the presentation, the smoothness, the overall game, there's just a ton there, and I think it's one of the best titles I've played of the year so far. Moving on to number 2, a game that is just fantastic and deserves so many awards, and that's Into the Radius. Into the Radius just overall is a single player experience that you just cannot get enough of, and there's just so much replayability in this game. The survival aspects in the game are fantastic. There's a little bit of that horror element there, just because of what you're out there doing in the world. The backpack management system is just so clean. It feels so realistic. It feels so good the way you have to manage your inventory. It just has a really deep sense of realism to it, and the game just really throws you into this environment, and you become very, very immersed. I can't say enough good things about Into the Radius. I think it's one of those titles you could pick up and you could play for 100+ hours if you really want to. It's just a game that you will not be dissatisfied with, especially if survival horror type games are your thing. This game is going to satisfy you in every single way when it comes to a VR title. And lastly, for our number 1 pick, the best game that I personally think on the Pico store is After the Fall. I cannot say enough good things about After the Fall as well. It's another very smooth experience. There's a ton of content in After Fall. There's a ton of replayability because of the way you have to grind for guns and attachments and stuff. And there's definitely some loot aspects to it. Of course, you get to play with your friends and survive against waves of zombies, which they're continuously adding new content. And the game is very much alive with a very good player base. It's a fantastic VR title, and if you're into shooters and somewhat looter shooters with friends against zombies in VR in some great environments and some definitely pretty challenging levels, you're gonna just love this game. I really can't say enough good things about After the Fall, and it's one of those titles that I want to even play more of, and I just haven't played more of it. I've already put some good hours into the game, but it's a game that I definitely would like to continue to play as it continues to be developed throughout the future. I just can't say enough good things. It's a lot of fun. The reloading is very realistic. The game, the guns just feel good in your hands. They sound good. Everything about the game is just top tier. It's definitely a top tier VR game, and I think it deserves a number 1 spot on the Pico game store. You could make an argument for Into the Radius, no doubt, but I think just in terms of sheer, what the community and what the VR community and what generally people like for gaming, I think After the Fall is a more casual, I don't want to say casual is not the right word, but compared to Into the Radius, like I think more people would appeal to After the Fall than Into the Radius, and that's why it's got to be number 1 for me. But yeah, overall, really solid titles. Cannot say enough good things about them. Well, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys found some new games to play on your Pico 4. This thing definitely looks pretty good, especially in standalone mode. I really enjoyed some of my playthroughs on the games in this thing so far. The lenses definitely make a difference, and in the standalone version, I don't know, standalone, I like it a lot. I think it performs a little bit better than in its countersuits, but I do really like some of the games they have. I'm definitely looking forward to a bigger games library, and I think as this headset continues to grow, we're going to get a lot more games because a lot of people are looking to get away from certain large players and they don't want to give them any money. So, why not go and pick one of these up, and you're going to be able to get a lot of those games, and there'll definitely be more bleed over in the coming years. So, but hope you guys found it informative and you guys found some games you like and help this, maybe this video helped you make a decision on this headset or not. Either way, drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, drop comments in the comment section. I love reading those, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.